Coming up on your news at 5, tragedy in Sumter. 5 people are dead, 3 of them children, after a shooting late last night.
As adults, we're not conditioned to bury children. As people, as a community in our nation, we're not conditioned to bury a child. That's foreign to us, and it's very shocking and very emotional for the certainly for the family, the community at large, and our officers and other first responders.
The latest on the investigations just ahead. Your news at 5 starts now.
Live from Columbia, this is WIS News 10 at 5. Live, local, now.
We continue to follow the very latest out of Sumter. A father shot and killed his 2 children, his stepdaughter, and an active duty member of the U.S. Army at a Sumter home of his ex-wife last night. That was before taking his own life. Those shootings happened just around 10 p.m. last night at a home on Whitetail Circle in the Woodridge subdivision on the west side of town.
We have team coverage on this story. Nick Neville covering what happened during the incident, and Chris Joseph getting reaction from the school. We begin with Nick on the latest details. Nick?
Dondi and Greg, just a really tragic situation here in Sumter. So we now know that the shooter, Charles Slacks, entered the home of his ex-wife, Aletha Holiday, using a key. That's when he found a 38-year-old co-worker of Holiday's in the backyard and shot him. Now, county records show that Slacks was also a co-owner of this home, and divorce records show that the divorce between Slacks and Holiday was finalized just back on March 3rd. After shooting that unidentified 38-year-old male, Slacks went inside. Holiday tried to stop him, but he pointed a gun at her. Holiday, who didn't have her phone on her, ran to get the cell phone from her coworker to call 911, but couldn't find it. She then heard several gunshots, ran back inside to find Slacks at the top of the stairs. He then shot himself. When Holiday checked her children's bedrooms, she found that all of them were shot and killed. The victims were Aiden Holiday Slacks, Aaron Holiday Slacks, and Ava Holiday. Their ages 5, 6, and 11. Slacks was retired military, the Army not releasing the name of the 38-year-old man who died until all family has been notified. Chief Russell Rourke with the Sumter Police says this could happen in any family setting, unfortunately, but with it being such a tight-knit military community, this tragedy touches all of the department's officers.
When you have a situation where little children were sleeping in the comfort of their own bed, and at no fault of their own have their life taken, particularly by a father and a stepfather, that's difficult for us to rationalize.
We spent the afternoon today in that subdivision, in that neighborhood, speaking with neighbors. Understandably, none of them wanted to go on camera, but I did have the opportunity to speak with a father who says that his children used to play with the Holiday children. He was taking them to counseling today. Now, our Chris Joseph is also following this story for us. He's been talking with parents just about how difficult this has been for all of the children in the Sumter County School District. Chris, so question for you, did the district make any changes today in response to these shootings?
Well, the district did release a statement, Nick, that of course it is grieving, and so are many of the parents that I spoke with today. Now, 2 of those children went to school behind me at Millwood Elementary School. The 3rd and their older sibling went to nearby Alice Drive Elementary School. So when I swung by Alice Drive earlier today, I did see several parents taking their students out of the school. It's unclear if this was directly related to the shooting, and the district did not release early, but I did obviously speak with a lot of parents who are struggling with how they're going to address this with their children this evening. Otherwise, there's really no sign of anything different outside of the schools today. I spoke with one grandmother of a Millwood Elementary School student. She, again, and the parents of the child in question will have to figure out how they're going to broach such a serious topic. She asked that we withhold her identity.
There's so much violent in our country, they're not innocent like it was when I went to school. They're not. You want to protect them, but you don't know how to protect them anymore because it's so much. It's so much, and you have to expose them to things that you don't want to expose them to.
I spoke with several other parents who all declined to go on camera this evening, but many of them were really just digesting the news themselves. Forget about even beginning to formulate a plan to broach this topic with their kids. Reporting in Sumter County, Chris Joseph, WIS News 10.
All right, Chris, thank you. And to read more about the story, you can head to our website, wistv.com.
I want to give you an update on your forecast for today. We are tracking some rain shower activity right now on the radar. Joining us is meteorologist Vaughn Gaskin with what we're expecting as far as the amount of rain. Vaughn?
Yeah, the amount of rain won't be impressive. So by the time you get home and look at your rain gauge, maybe up in Blythewood, you may see some decent numbers, but generally we're only looking at about 1/10 of an inch so far. So this has been more of what I like to call that nuisance rain. It's coming down, but it isn't really doing much as it does. So we are looking at some areas of rain up near Winsboro, Chester, Camden, Chesterfield, all seeing some decent rain showers coming down. Also some rain for us right over the city of Columbia. This is more lighter rain. It's not heavy. It's coming down in more of a mist form in the areas where you see the darker, deeper cloud cover here. So some of this rain is reaching the ground, even though it's not showing up green on our radar. We're also looking at your observed rainfall here, about 1/10 of an inch in Sumter, a little bit more than that for you St. Matthews, and a little bit less than that downtown Columbia and Lexington. And we're not really picking up anything, not even a trace in Camden, Winsboro. So hey, not quite yet, but you may get something before the day's over. It's currently 59 in Columbia and in Lexington, 54 as you head up towards Newberry, and 56 in Saluda. So for the winds, not too bad for us out there now, and 53 for the overnight low, 84 tomorrow, and the 80s stay with us as we head into the weekend at 87 for Friday.
So much. Well, the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control oversees everything from coordinating the state's pandemic response in recent years to issuing food safety permits to regulating dams. But some lawmakers believe DHEC is unwieldy and unmanageable, and they say government needs to run more efficiently. State House reporter Mary Green joins us with their plan in response. Mary?
Well, Dondi, these senators want to break DHEC up, and this isn't the first time we've heard this plan. This same bill passed in the state Senate last year, but died in a House of Representatives committee before it could get to the governor's desk.
This bill would dissolve DHEC and create two new cabinet-level agencies, the Department of Behavioral and Public Health and the Department of Environmental Services. Behavioral and Public Health would take over DHEC's health responsibilities and subsume the Department of Mental Health and the Department of Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Services, DAODAS, both of which would cease to exist. The heads of both DMH and DAODAS told senators in a hearing Wednesday that under this plan, they believe they'd still be able to meet the needs of the South Carolinians they serve right now as standalone agencies.
I just think that it should be done carefully so that a merger does not diminish the importance and the public perception of importance of addictions issues.
DHEC's environmental control functions would become the Department of Environmental Services, which would also take over the Department of Natural Resources' current Water Resources Division. Meanwhile, the Department of Mental Health's current responsibility to oversee veterans' nursing homes and DHEC's current responsibility to oversee food safety programs would shift to the Department of Veterans Affairs and Agriculture, respectively. South Carolina's new Secretary of Veterans Affairs says no one in his agency has a background in nursing home management, and he doesn't believe his is the right agency to oversee this.
Taking a field that's very complex, very clinically focused, and moving it to a department that has enough experience is going to require some mitigation.
Now, this bill would still need to get several more approvals to reach the governor's desk. Reporting live from the State House, Mary Green, WS News 10.
Thank you so much. And senators say they plan to hold at least one more meeting on this bill next week.
West Columbia police are asking for the public's help to find a missing man. Police say 31-year-old Byron Jeffrey Davis was reported missing on Sunday. Davis is described as 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighs about 174 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black zip-up hoodie with black sweatpants. Anyone with information is urged to call the West Columbia Police Department or Crime Stoppers.
Well, thousands gathered this morning for the governor's 61st annual South Carolina Prayer Breakfast. The nonpartisan event was held at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center and drew people from all over the state. The event seeks to promote the gift of prayer and to build meaningful relationships between South Carolina's government and people in the community.
Part of our goal for this breakfast especially is to start a new transition into how do we promote prayer throughout the state for the entire year, not just a breakfast that comes together annually, but how can we create initiatives and partner with other groups. So today we have multiple groups here who have prayer groups or who have churches connected together who are praying. Some of these groups actually have people praying 24/7 around the clock throughout the state.
Today's keynote address was given by James Morgan, the former president and CEO of Krispy Kreme Donuts. The yearly gathering celebrates those who serve through leadership each day in our state.
The South Carolina State Fair announces the return of its annual Spring Fair food drive-through. Their unique twist on the restaurant drive-through concept will have traditional fair food and drinks, including, of course, Fisk fries, funnel cakes, lemonade, and more. There will also be more options for visitors, like a walk-in kickoff day, which takes place Saturday, April the 15th, and dine-in picnic table seating and free movie nights. The food drive-thru will be from Sunday, April the 16th through the 22nd, and for more information on that event, you can visit scstatefair.org.
Ahead on your news at 5, South Carolina State students presented their STEM research today, how their findings resurface issues in the state. First, there's another delay with a grand jury in New York, which is deciding whether former President Donald Trump will face a possibility of indictment. The latest on that next.